Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone's having a great day and into the evening. I can't believe it's already 7:30. I don't know where the time goes, but I'm really excited to chat with you guys tonight. We're going to talk about something really, really important that most of us are trying to deal with right now, and we all have our kids at home. So we're going to talk to one of my really, really good friends who is a parenting coach, and I'm going to bring her on just a second. But I just want to kind of remind you guys about what So What Now What is. So What Now What is a moment. It's a time in your life where you decide to pivot towards what you want to create and away from what's going terrible in your life. It's time for you to say, I'm done with the bullshit in my life. So what? Now what? So it's a reset, a refocus, a way for you to just get out of your old thinking and into a more resourceful state. So that's what the whole So What Now What thing is about. And what I'm trying to do with this show is bring on people that are the answers to the question of now what. So you have kids at home. You have kids, you're homeschooling. This is a crazy time. They don't really know what's going on. So now what? So I want to bring on someone who's going to help you answer that. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome Veenu Keller to the program. Veenu is a parenting coach and has been called the kid and family whisperer. So we're going to get some advice from her tonight. And I just want you to tell a little, we got some high fives and claps and muscles already. This is amazing. Everyone, if you're watching this and there's someone you know that can use this information, please share it on your page. Invite all the moms and dads that are out there struggling right now. I think we're 2-3 weeks into this quarantine and homeschool and all that jazz. So, Veenu, tell us a little bit about why parenting coaching is your thing, is your wheelhouse. How'd you do that? How'd you get to that?
So by accident, like everything, right? So it's interesting. So I'll just share with the universe who's watching this, right?
The entire universe.
Right? I'm going to share a little secret about me. I have almost, and I think I could say every, but I'm going to say almost, just in case someone's out there going, no, you don't have this. I have every title of mom. I have been a single mom. I have been a married mom. I am a mom of twins. I'm a mom of adults. I'm a mom of youngins. I'm a stepmom. I am a mom that I've been a working mom, and I've been a stay-home mom.
And a grandmom.
And I'm a grandmom. But I go by Mimi. I'm a Mimi.
Okay, you're Mimi. Okay.
I'm Mimi.
Fair enough.
So, when I raised my boys, I don't want to self-beat myself up because I've already done that and I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, but we're just talking about, let's just get real with it.
Right. And so, this is my so what moment, right? So what? I have screwed up a lot of things because I've seen the repercussions. Now what? Now what? I said, how can I help parents to do better? What do they not know? What do I know now that if I knew then, I could have produced or guided or supported my older boys to be even better than they are? Because my boys are amazing. Like my older boys, I'm so proud of them. I'm proud of the fact that they make decisions on their own, whether I'm going to support them or not, or I should say like them. And they still continue to do that. And they'll call me and they're like, you know what? I didn't listen to you. And this is my lesson. And I'm like, okay, what did you get from that? And they're like, I got this. I'm like, perfect. Then it was the lesson that you needed, not the way I would have wanted it, but it doesn't make me less love you, less proud of you, nothing. And so I take all these things, like my daughter-in-law called me and she's like, I just don't understand. Like Cameron always is down on himself. Like he does not feel good enough. And I said, and I did that. She goes, oh, no, don't put that on you. And I'm like, no, I'm going to. Like, let me own it. At least let me own it. Let me own the fact that when my son brought home a C and I'm like, really? That's what you got? Okay, you're not going out with your friends now until you do better because I know you could do better. Like, what a shame, what a blame I put on him. And my boys have told me, and this was like my now what moment after I heard one of my sons say, why would I want to go to Thanksgiving with you and my brother? Like, no matter what I do is not good enough, and you are so judgmental. And I'm like, oh
yeah. Knife in the heart right there.
And I was like, okay. I said, you know what? I need to know more. Tell me more. Tell me specifically, what did I do that made you feel this way about me? Because I want to solve and resolve now, because you're not that little kid anymore. I'm not a single mom anymore. And I definitely am doing better now with what I know. I did the best I could with what I had, and I'm doing even better now because I even have more now. So let's have this conversation. And honestly, having that real and raw conversation with him and him just crying and yelling and getting all this out that he's carried on really helped me realize that when we blame and shame our children, because we think that that's how we have to do it to get them to do it, or they're not going to do it, or they're going to be entitled. No, because think about it as an adult, Michelle. If somebody said, you know what, you're not the best coach, and if you want to be a better coach, you better do something. Like, oh my God, like I would be devastated. But if somebody came to you and said, Michelle, like you're such an amazing coach, and you know what worked for me? When I said these 2 questions, I got these results. I'm going to be pretty much saying the same thing because I'm going to guide you in the way you should go, but I'm not shaming you or making you feel like you're on TV. So, poop.
You can say shit on my show.
Okay, I'm not going to say shit.
It's all good. We're here about for real. we're not going to sugarcoat anything. Parenting sucks sometimes. Parenting is the greatest gift ever, but it also is the hardest thing I have ever done because I have definitely shown up as a parent in ways that I was not proud of. I mean, and so I think that not beating myself up, like you said, not beating myself up, but wanting to be better and learn different skills and tools to handle these situations because, I wasn't a single mom at first, and then I was, and then I had 2, and then I had 3. And, it's been, quite a journey. And, I had the terrorist toddler.
Right? Co-parenting.
What's that?
And then throw in the co-parenting, right? Because
co-parenting with 2. I got 2 baby daddy. I mean, let's be real. Okay. So one of the things that I want to get to tonight, if you guys have questions about things that are happening in your house, if your kids are fighting or they're, not doing great with the homeschooling, or if there's something that you guys want us to address tonight, please ask questions because we want to talk about whatever's going to be the best, support for you guys in this moment. So one of the things that I'm dealing with a little bit, and my kids get a lot, we kind of have a rule, like you're not allowed to be mean to your brother and sister. But let's be honest, everyone's cooped up together and they have a tendency to get, to fight. Like, oh, she won't play with me or they won't play my game. And then the 5-year-old comes up crying because they're not like, how do we institute a little bit of peace so that everyone doesn't feel like they're, sacrificing or compromising all the time and everybody's winning? Because I don't feel like I can always, I don't want to mediate all of that all the time.
Right. So great question. And I have twins, so I get it. And they're boy-girl twin. So,
and they're 7, by the way. So they're,
So I'll give you an example today where we were taking a nice hike today here in northern Idaho. And one of them will call the other one a name. And she hates it. It's when he says sagey wagey. And he knows
her name is Sage. So he calls her sagey wagey.
So he says sagey wagey.
Yeah, that's fuel.
Right. So he's walking and he's like, sagey wagey. And she's like, stop. And he was walking with me and I said, Sam, why do you say that to her? He's like, because it's funny. He's like, watch, sagey wagey. And she goes, stop. And he's like, isn't that funny? And I said, well, no, it's not. And I said, why do you want that from her? He's like, because I think it's funny. So in his 7-year-old mind, he's not trying to hurt her feelings, but he is trying to get her to do that. And it's working. So all of our kids have an outcome. So this was a question that was brought up on my Parenting Uncensored Real and Raw page about, when our kids have that civil rivalry. And normally, a lot of times it's the older kid, it's the alpha kid, right? They want to still know, like, am I still alpha? Am I still the one in control? So they'll instigate to get that. So what as parents can we do to give them more responsibility, to teach them? And of course, age appropriate, right? I mean, I'm not going to tell my 7-year-old, well, hey, look, you can do, go wash my car, to give them a responsibility. I'm not saying that. But I'm like a real responsibility. So like one of my clients, she has a 15-year-old son. So he is really good at doing stuff like with videos and stuff. So she says, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Why don't I video this and you cut and I'll give you credit for it? And he's like, oh my gosh. that one, build up his self-worth and self-image.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to fight for his sister's attention, right? Because who's alpha?
Mhm.
And it gives him a self of an internal, like, I'm enough. And so, like, even for these, like, the little ones, I just said, I'm like, Sam, if you were going to show love and kindness, what would that look like? And he's like, I wouldn't say G. And I said, yeah. I said, 'cause that doesn't feel good. And like when they do something and one screams or whatever, I ask them, I'm like, ooh, is that a good choice? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, what would be a better choice? And I make them tell me what the better choice is.
Right.
I want to know consciously, even at 7 years old, that they're aware that there's a good choice and not such a good choice. Like I never have labeled my kids, well, these kids, bad. I never say, oh, you're bad or you're good. I tell them they're always amazing. Like even when they don't make the best choice, they're still always amazing and they just didn't make a good choice. And I always say, and guess what? So what, now what, right? So what, this happened, now what are you going to do?
Right.
And if imagine what they're going to be when they're 15, because we've started this, so young.
Yeah. So yeah, just, giving them choice. Oh my gosh, there's a really pretty moon out there that totally distracted me. Sorry. So I think that one of the things that's really powerful that works with Asher for sure is making him believe that he's in control by giving him a choice that either one of them he chooses is good with me.
So I call that controlled control.
Controlled control. Yeah. Because if I can say, you can either watch your tablet or you can play with your Legos, which one are you going to choose? You have one or two choices. It's both. They're still my choices, but now he's the decision maker and now he feels more in control. Because if you're just demanding, it doesn't, when you're a toddler, so he's much better now, but when he was 4, he was like a terrorist. But with me, I have a question for you. Why are mommies kryptonite? Why are they so good with other people and then we walk in the room and they lose their shit? What is that about?
Because they know no matter what they do to us, I just got chills, we're always going to love them. We're always going to keep them safe. So we're the ones that can be their punching bag. We're the ones that they can say, I hate you. They're the ones that can, throw a fit for us and be so like sometimes mean, right? Because what happens? I still love you. I still love you. I'm still going to protect you. And I'm so sorry you feel that way right now. And I said, and that's okay. Like you can hate me right now. That is okay. Because you know what? If I was your age and I told you no, that you had to go to bed when you're not tired, I'd probably hate me too. So you know what? We're just going to love it out.
We're just going to agree to disagree.
Right. Because that's just it, Michelle. We have got to teach our kids to have emotional intelligence. And what I mean by that, aware of the emotions they're feeling and how long do they want to stay in it and what do they want differently.
Like we talked about last night with Kim, like who's driving their bus?
Yes.
Like teaching the kids, so is frustration driving your bus right now? Or is anger driving your bus right now? Because I think that a lot of kids, they don't know what to do with their emotions. And I'll tell you right now, I think some of the middle school, like my 10-year-old, my daughter and her brother's 12, she's 10 and he's 12. I don't think they know how to feel it through all this. Like all of a sudden they can't go anywhere and do anything and see their friends. And they don't really know what to do with that. So I think it's really great and really important to talk to them about how they're feeling in this environment right now.
And so talk to them in their age, get conversations started. So like my kids, because some people, first of all, we all have different rules. And when we all have different rules, we all have different definitions of our rules, right? So like my kids see other kids playing outside together. Well, for all I know, they're cousins, sisters, they live together. I don't know if they're neighbors that came together, but all I know for my kids is that you cannot be next to other kids. Like you just can't. And at 7, they have a hard time understanding that. They're like, fine, then we'll just be bored. And I said, well, we can be bored here at the park, or we could be bored at Nani's stuff. Like you have a choice to make. And they're like, fine, then we'll be bored at the park. I said, what a great choice to be bored. And I'm like, and if you weren't bored, what would that look like? And they would say, well,
I love that question. If you were bored, or if you were being nice, if you were being kind, what does that look like?
And it's such an important question we ask kids. And like I said, I've been asking my kids since 3 because they ask each other, well, what does that look like then?
What does that look like, Mom?
Yeah. And because this is our language with them. Like we're teaching them that it doesn't matter like what you are feeling. I need to know what that looks like to you, because anger is a second emotion, first of all. If you think about the last time you were angry, I guarantee you were either disappointed, you felt judged, you felt rejected, you felt sad. There was some emotion first, and then it turned into anger. Why? Because anger is such an easy expression that we can make. Because if I'm angry with you, you're going to know. And then all of a sudden, I'll have my outcome, like that I'm angry. But if I'm sad and I hide it from you because I don't want to be vulnerable, you'll never know how I feel. And so especially kids, they use anger as a way to get that energy out, right? To express it and just get it out. So it's funny that you said that you called your son like a little terrorist, because that's what my husband used to call the twins. They're like, oh my God, they're the terrorists too. Because two of them.
I mean, I was at the haircut place, right? And I stepped back. I'm like, whose kid is that? He was losing his shit. And I'm like, I'm that mom right now. I'm the mom the other moms are looking at like, ooh, bless her heart. Like I was that mom trying to get a haircut.
So let's look at that for a second. What was he wanting at that moment?
He wanted candy, and he wanted to not get his haircut, and he just wanted everything that he couldn't have. Like he wanted something for nothing.
Okay, right. So control. When you say I want control. If it is he enjoyed the people laughing at him or going, because as adults will go, oh my God, it's so cute. And in my mind we're going, oh my God, I'd beat that butt, And by the way, I'm not a spanker. And there's times that I really wanted to. So just to, be real and raw, last Monday when we first started this stuff, at the end of my day, I called my friend. I'm like, I need a Veenu Keller. I need a freaking in-home turnaround because this shit is not working.
I need an in-home turnaround.
I lost my shit. Like, and I'm here to tell everybody, like, even though I do this, like, I lost my shit,
Well, right, because we're all humans having a human experience right now. No, nobody's perfect. Nobody gets it right every single time.
And so, but we have to be aware. So what do we do? So going back to Asher, so looking at that, he wants control. So before you go into the hair salon, you should, I call it anticipatory guidance, right? So Asher, mommy's going to go get a haircut. It's going to take this many minutes. I'm going to put a time.
No. He was there to get his haircut.
Okay. Yes. So Asher, you're going to go get a haircut. Sorry. Asher, you're going to go get a haircut. And I know you don't like this, but tell me, what are we going to do? And he'll probably say, I sit, they cut my hair. And then what happened? And then I get candy. You do get candy. And when you get candy, what else happens? Then mommy takes me to I'm going to make up stuff right now. Then mommy takes me to the dollar store and I get to go pick out a treat. I'm like, okay. And if you're really, really good, I get 2. Okay. So what are we going to do when we go in there? I'm going to sit, I'm going to get my hair cut and I get candy and I get 2. Yay. So you're giving them like a storybook of what's going to happen. So they're already mentally hearing it and feeling it. Like they're already going through the emotions, right? Because my Samuel, the other twin, has such a huge centric, especially when you do the back of his neck. His shoulders go like this and they can't do it. And then I'm like, oh, it looks good. We get home and it's all, crazy. And I'm like, oh God, I'm not going to do that. That's just going to how it stays. And so even with him, when we do the anticipatory guidance,
anticipatory guidance. Okay.
Yes. So anticipating what's going to happen, right?
Right.
And so for him, what we've learned is that if we give him our iPad or our phone or whatever, and he's like this, it keeps him down. I'm like, okay, if we put our head up, what happens? Mommy takes the iPad away. Right. So we're going to keep our head down and keep looking. And it's going to tickle. And what are we going to do? We're going to keep our head down because what happens if you put your head up? Mommy takes the iPad away. Right. And since then, every haircut has been okay. Like
the thing that goes back to this thing with mommy is the kryptonite. If I was not the one that took him to get his haircut, he probably would have come home with a haircut. But he didn't come home with a haircut that day. We had to leave, and he didn't get the candy, and he didn't get the lollipop.
But I wouldn't leave because now he knows. Like so, next time you go, he knows. Like if I throw a big enough fit, we'll just leave, and that's his outcome is to leave. Yeah,
it was one of those things where I needed to we needed to leave. But I understand what you're saying because I've been we have a a stuffed dog from when Gia was little and we didn't leave. But anyway, back to like.
So let me just say this real quick. So like if I was working with a family, because I've worked with many families where we do the restaurant, and this kid is like kicking the wall. There's like, he's clearing the table and mom is like crying because everybody's looking at us now. And I'm like comforting mom going, it's okay. I got this. Like they think I'm the mom. So don't worry about it. I got this. And the waitress is like, do you need some crayons? I'm like, oh, we're not going to reward this. We're not going to reward this. And I just kept telling the kid in a very calm and voice, like, when you're done. And all he wanted to go sit with his mom because he knows in the past that mom will take him out because mom and dad just get so, I mean, I know I've been that parent where you're so embarrassed.
You get so upset and so frustrated. Yeah.
And then everybody wants to parent your kid, right? They want to, just give him a lollipop because nobody wants to hear a kid cry. Like people, when kids came into this world, they cried and it was okay. And they didn't die. And now that they have a voice, we have to, if we're not going to teach them to have a voice, they're going to continue to cry.
Yeah, it's easier said than done.
It is.
And there have been times where you just got to put your resilience on. Like I sat outside of Asher's door and every time he came out, I put him right back in. And every time he came right back, I put him back in. And you have to be consistent, resilient, and go get your wine when they're asleep.
And what happened when that, right? Because you check in with me, like, okay, I did it again last night. I'm like, Michelle, if you just do it for like consistency for so many days, what's the result now though? What do you have now?
No, he stays in his bed. I mean, it's funny. He's like, she got to check on me 18,000 times and lay with me 18,000 times, even when I'm asleep. And when I'm asleep, you got to lay with me. And then you got to check on me before I fall asleep and go, okay, mom. Okay, bye. I love you. See you in the morning.
Exactly.
Every single night, he says the same exact thing.
And so what kids do are so resilient, they create their own safety of what they're looking for, right? And they're like, okay, so mom is definitely, because, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, you're like, you're standing at his door, he's thinking it's been an hour, it's been 10 minutes, he comes out and he's like, oh, and he goes back.
She's still there.
Yeah. And so he finally realizes in his brain, because that's what we're doing, we're just training the brain, right? Like, okay, because 4 days for him is probably a year because I have no time concept, right? So once we establish that, now he's going to create his own safety of what does he need from mommy. Because what you just said, his little mantra is his way of just making sure mommy's there. Mommy's going to stay, like mommy's we're their safety. When we do their kryptonite, they still rely on us for boundaries. They still rely on us for safety. They still rely on us to love them.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone else out there has this challenge, but he is a very Asher's the topic because he's the Landon and Gia are easy right now, and they're so great. And I mean, I'm just so blessed to have them. And their dad and I have done a really good job of working together to get them to where they are. But Asher is the most picky eater I have ever like eating dinner, getting him to try things and eating dinner like makes me crazy. So what are some of your tips and suggestions for getting kids to eat what you put in front of them? And because for a long time as a single, I have an amazing partner in my life right now who does so much and helps me so much. So it's not just me right now, but for a long time I was making it was like a restaurant just because I don't want to hear it. Like, what will you eat?
Right.
So now we're trying to get everyone to eat the same thing. And it's just, God, what do we do at dinner time?
So I've worked with kids on the spectrum for like over 20 years. And so that's one of the biggest challenges that I can say is probably a common denominator with kids on the spectrum or sensory issues. Mm-hmm. So, and my twins had some sensory issues too. They were preemies and stuff. And so I did the same thing with them that I'm going to teach you all now. So we teach our kids to be picky. Okay. And I'll give you an example. When the kids were over 1 year old and they could start having table food and whatever, like we made their own baby food, but like when it was starting to get like solid food where they can actually pick up and eat, I would make mashed potatoes. Sam would put them in his mouth and he would just gag.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we're going to eat them. We're going to eat them. We're going to eat them. I have never, ever excused my child from eating mashed potatoes. He's now 7. It's not his favorite thing, but when we have mashed potatoes, he will take a dollop of it because I never allowed him to say that's that's something I don't want. Because no matter how he gagged on it, and so when you gag on it, it makes your brain think, oh, I can't have that. I can't have that. Like, look, I'm reacting to it. And sometimes it's like a pseudo thing, right? Like it's your body makes up a reaction because we know that if I do it, mom says I don't have to eat it. I don't have to eat it. I don't have to eat it. So then we're like, oh gosh, they're going to throw up. Okay, you don't have to eat that, sweetie. And we fall right into their
Jason's sitting next to me right now, Greg. He's laughing because he's
like,
like, he wants to high five you right now, Veenu.
Yeah, Jason, let's high five. And the thing is that they won. They're in control. We've just taught them. We just told them what the formula is. Like when I work with relationships, I'm like, what's your formula? What's your formula to being loved and appreciated? With kids, what's your formula? Well, my formula to not eating is I just like go, ugh. And my mom's like, okay, you don't have to eat it because I don't want you throwing up. Because what's the worst case scenario? When they eat it, they throw up. Okay, next, take the plate away and, try something different. The thing is like, even with my children, I remember because I used to work for the state of North Carolina, and I worked a lot with Department of Social Services because I would get a lot of clients from them. And I would ask them, I'm like, so what happens if our kid doesn't eat dinner? Like, is that like something that I get called on? And they're like, are you holding it from them? Are you using it as a punishment? Are you not giving them any food? I'm like, no. Like they've had breakfast and lunch, they've had snacks, and at dinner, they're just going to sit there and I'm not going to make another meal so they can go home. They can go to bed hungry. They're like, oh God, girl, no, you're good. I'm like, okay, great. Thank you. I have my green light. And that's what I did with my kids. Like I'm not a chef. Okay. You need to be grateful for the food I put on our plate. And that's it. That's it. That's all you're going to get. And if you choose not to eat it, that's okay. Not going to hurt my feelings. But in the morning, I guess you'll have a good breakfast because you'll be hungry then, And like as they get older, I make them tell me how much they want because I want them to learn how to calibrate their own food, And so, right. Like right now at 7, I still I know what they're going to eat. And I teach them, to have a happy plate, like to clean their plate, but I don't overfeed them either. I'm not putting the psychological thing like you have to eat everything on your plate because that's what my mom used to do. But it's like, okay,
Clean plate club.
Right. I say, what does a happy plate look like? And happy plate looks like when your tummy is full and you've tried everything on your plate. That's a happy plate.
Yeah, I think that what I'm up against right now is that certain things he's gotten away, or it's on me, totally on me, that I have let him get away with certain behaviors with food because it was just too hard I was just too complicated. And I'm definitely not beating myself up. I'm just owning that I'm the reason I'm here right now. Mm-hmm. And would I have done some things differently? Sure.
Sure.
Was I doing the best that I can? The situation I was at? Yes. And I want to do it better. Like, so what? That was the situation.
Now what?
Now what? We're at another level. And that is exactly what this whole So What Now is about. There is not one thing that you can't apply this to. But I think, for lots of parents, just because you were doing it a certain way doesn't mean you don't have the power to shift. Like you are the parents. Like I'm the parent. This is up to me.
Right. And I know we're running out of time, but I just want to touch on one more thing as about us.
Go ahead. Take your time.
Us women, we have been raised to be self-beaters. We have been self-beaters our whole life, and we're like really good at it. Like I should have a PhD in self-beating. Like I really should. And I can teach it so well. And I have learned to just rip up that degree and start to self-build. And what does that mean? It means that if I make a mistake and it hasn't killed my kid, I just like laugh it off and hashtag it parent fail. And I get real and raw about it. And that's why I named my parent group Parents Uncensored, Real and Raw, because this is where they have to be able to feel this and know it is okay. Like we were just talking about Glennon Doyle, how like she did this whole thing about TV time. There is no TV time right now. You're not a homeschooler, you're a mom, unless you are a homeschooler, because I know a lot of great homeschoolers. But I'm not. I got to take a breath. And you know what? I put myself in timeout. And I tell the kids, I'm like, I'm going in timeout. And they're like, well, what does that mean? I said, well, what does that mean to you? And they're like, I don't know, because I don't use timeout for my kids. And I'm like, okay, so mommy's having an emotion. I need to go to my room and figure it out. And when I figure out my emotions, I'll come back out. And because that's our rule. Like,
well, and I said, like, when if Asher's getting upset and he's crying for no reason, I'm like, okay, when you're done, well, I'm gonna go to my room right now, and when you're done, come get me.
yes, because if we label things timeout, corner, whatever, we're punishing our kids for having an emotion. But I know for me, my room is my domain when I'm at home because I'm still stuck in my
Right,
mom.
you poor thing. You're at your mom's house for the last month. Yeah, like, that's a whole nother show.
Yes. So when I'm at home, my room is my domain. Like when I'm stressed, when I'm sad, when I'm angry, I can go to my room and just do what I need to do and then come out. When I come out that door, it's like, okay, hey, because I've had my emotion. So I've taught my kids that too. So when they're fighting, like go back to that, the civil right, when they're fighting, I'm like, okay, this is not okay. We're separating. And when I say one, go to your room, they don't feel punished. I'm like, you're going to go to your room, you're going to sit here, and you're both going to figure out your emotions. And when you're done, let's just come out and we'll hug it out. And one will go up and you'll hear them stomp up the stairs. They even slam the door. And I
Yes,
don't
slamming doors. That's the thing my
like
son is doing. My oldest son right now is slamming doors. I'm like, bro,
slam that
come on,
thing.
kick your butt.
Did that feel good? And then when they're done, come out and say, okay, tell me now. And I'm going to tell you one thing that has become so profound, and that is hearing my child. I notice when Sam is saying something, and then the other twin, Sage, comes and wants to say, and he's like, oh, I'm just not being heard. So I'll say, Sage, I need you to be quiet now. Sam, I want to hear you, but I want to hear you in a tone that I can hear you, because I don't do whining and I don't do yelling. So he'll say, so, and he'll tell me what happened. I'm like, okay, great. How do you feel? He's like, okay, because he just wanted to be heard. And then I'm like, Sage, please tell me whatever the situation was for you. So I give both of them an opportunity to be heard. So I would invite you the next time your kids are all at it and stuff, just be like, hey, help me understand what is going on. And then you might want to let Asher go first so he doesn't feel like there's an age thing. Asher, tell mommy what you think is happening. Oh yeah, I know. Oh gosh, yeah, I get it. And just validate his feelings. And then you go to another child and another child. Okay, so great. So what do we need to do to fix this? You don't fix it. You ask them. Because the more you go back to them fixing it and back to them fixing it, girl, this is going to be done. Because like right now, I can look at my twins when they're doing this, and they're like, well, can I be heard? And I'm like, I would love to hear you. Just tell me more.
Yeah, I love the fact that your kids have this language now that they use. It's so good. It's so good.
It's funny because my older boys will say, they're like, you do not treat the twins the way you treated us. And I'm like, thank God.
I learned.
So I've taught my kids Ho'oponopono. That's their night prayer. They do the I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you 3 times, and then we go over what we're grateful for. And then they've learned actual close your eyes and dear God prayers from school, because they do that. I love their teacher. They do that every morning. So like our prayers have now like added on, right? But I mean, imagine who they're going to be, because they have done the Ho'oponopono every night. They've taught it to my mom. They've taught it to babysitters. Like what a gift.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, being part of the Tony Robbins world, we've been so blessed to learn so many of these strategies, and now we get to share them, just in ways that are going to support people. Veenu, tell people where they can get a hold of you.
Yes. So I am all over social media. I don't really use Twitter, but Instagram, Facebook, Veenu Inspires. My website is veenuinspires.com. And I have a parent group that I'm really working on getting it interactive. I'm working on a TV show right now. So I'm really, so, I'm not sure what network is going to pick it up or not, but I'm really excited about that, and I really.
Oh, I spelled it wrong. My bad.
Oh yeah.
Let me do that again. I can't type and talk. Sorry, my bad.
I really I want that Parents Uncensored Real and Raw Facebook group to really be a place where people could just come and just let it out, be heard. Like, I want to hear you. And I'm also starting to do, I did a group coaching last Thursday. I thought I was going to be able to do one this week too, but uncertainty of where I'm going to be, it's hard for me to schedule anything. Like, I'm like, I could do this. I can't do this. Oh, I can do it now. Is it still open? Like, I mean, I don't know my own life schedule right now. So I probably will do another group coaching, and I'm just doing it for free right now, Michelle, because because we're both coaches. Like, this is what I do for a living, and what can I do on my part now? What can I do to support families right now? And so I'm just doing like group coaching. People can get on. It's a Zoom. I'll post it everywhere if people are interested when I schedule the next one.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so grateful that you were here with me tonight, and I'm sure that we've gotten lots of golden nuggets out there. I'm just doing this because I think that So What Now What is so powerful. I'm not trying to get clients. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just trying to, like, right now I'm trying to invite my smarter friends. I'm trying to be in a room with people smarter than me a couple nights a week to share the wisdom and learn. So I am so grateful for you. You have been such a blessing in my life and such a great friend. So thanks for being here.
Let's get some strategies for Asher so you and Jason could have a peaceful one meal. That's it for everybody.
That would be great. Jason would very much appreciate it. All right. Thanks, you guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you Thursday. Thursday night, I'm going to have a naturopathic doctor on to talk about some things we can do to stay healthy and do it the natural way. And she's got some great tips for allergies. And I've had some skin issues that she's helping me with. So we'll talk all about that fun stuff. So anyway, you guys have a great night. Remember, so what, now what? You don't have to stay stuck in your shit to move on. Good night.